Hey guys, my name is Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons. Welcome to this video where we will take a deep dive into the melodic minor scale, the theory, the technique, and the applications in this video. So please grab your guitar. It's going to be a very hands-on one, and let's get going right away. First thing to keep on our radar is how is this melodic minor scale constructed? Super easy. We take a major scale. I'll use a C one, all right? So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, the major scale, and we will simply put a flat 3. Meaning the construction on the screen is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's correct. There's only one note change from the major scale, and this opens up a world of possibilities. What I love about the construction of the scale is that just this is often the missing link in students that I encounter that are pretty good at playing jazz, and they derive every mode from the major one. This will unlock a bunch of secrets for you. So let's get going. Okay, now that we got the theory out of the way, where do you apply this on the fretboard? Super simple. You know the cage system, right? Or any other scale system? I love to use the Berkeley method, the 7 positions. We simply take all the positions and we lower one note. So for instance, I know my C major scale pretty well over here. And what I will do is just recap the exact same position by modifying ever so slightly when I have an E flat. For instance, this one will be here. And if I had another position, say starting with my pinky on the 6th string, I would play major. And then I will just flat all the E's, so C, D, E flat. And what I recommend you do is actually sit down, pause this video, and look at all the scale positions that you know, whether it's cage or even if you just know 2 or 3, look at it, say, oh, this is this major scale, but here's a third of each. Bang for your buck. You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone because the third is a really good target note. And then just run the scale. Just get used to that one single note change. And that's it. So the implementation of the scale is basically, well, do everything you can already do with major and you're all set. Just see the link in the description below for a video where I do all of the 7 positions. I believe it's in G major. So I do G major, I do G melodic minor in the video. There's a PDF for the major. There's not a PDF for the melodic minor. You got to do the legwork a little bit, but it's really rewarding. It's going to yield a lot of benefits in your playing. Okay, here's what I recommend to learn melodic minor chords, because yes, of course, if you know the modes in the C major scale, you know there's a mode for each and there's a chord for each. What I like to call those is the big 5, which you can find a link in the description below as well, which is for free. And what I love to do is start with the big 5 in major, meaning C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G 7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, and C major. Those are our 7 chords in the key. So what happens when we change the one note in the key to C melodic minor? So all the chords containing an E note now have an E flat note instead. So our chords are similar, but they're a bit weird. So check it out. Just bear with me. You got to do a bit of legwork for this one. So C major 7 becomes C minor major 7. Whew, that's a pretty dark, spicy chord, right? The D minor 7 doesn't change because there's no E. Then we're going to do an E flat. Yeah, that's correct. E flat, because we used to have an E minor. So now we have an E flat major 7 sharp 5 because of our B natural. Then we have an F7 plain 7, a G7, an A minor 7 flat 5, a B minor 7 flat 5, and a C minor major 7. I really recommend you pause this video and you run through these 7 chords up and down just to get familiar with, wow, that's what's contained within our melodic minor scale. It's amazing. Look at that. We have F7 followed by G7. We have 2 dominant chords in a row. Wow. We have A minor 7 flat 5 followed by B minor 7 flat 5. Wow. Well, how about that? And then we have a C minor major 7, the D minor, and the E flat. It's like, wow, it's such a spicy, cool scale. The other observation I want to make about the melodic minor scale is the intervallic structure. So it's a bit of theory, but also look at it on your fretboard, guys. You'd be amazed to see that if I take a single string, so I love to put the C on my B string here and to see it as an individual line of 12 notes and see which notes are in and which notes are out. So of course we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B with an E flat, meaning we have here a whole step, C, D, D, E, flat, D. So we have a half step here, good. But check this out, I have E flat, F, G, A, B. Those are 4 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are 5 notes in a row with a whole step, meaning I have whole, half, then whole, 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 half. It's a lot of whole steps together, which will also yield the benefit of having these two dominant chords in a row, or these two minor 7 flat 5. Check this out. What I like to do as well is take my 5th string, and I go like this. I go C, E flat, right? And I go D, F. Those are 2 minor thirds, right? But when I keep going, I go E flat, F, G, A. So the E flat, F, G have a major third to them. So it's important to like look at the thing on an individual string and then see what kind of thirds are involved, because they determine chord quality, right? And then it just yields, it will yield interesting fingerings, but also the sound of it. It's so happening. It's so hyper, but at the same time, it's a minor chord. So that's the interesting part of the melodic minor, is being so bright, but at the same time being a minor scale. Okay, now we've talked about the construction. We talked about the scale and learning in positions. We talked about the harmony, meaning you can bring this in your big 5 component, which of course there's a link in the description, and modify every E note to an E flat note. We've also talked about the intervallic structure, the whole steps and half steps. I recommend you write this on paper, guys, just so you master it. You look at it, it's like, oh, that's a melodic minor scale. It's just another beast from the major, right? So I'm just recapping quickly. A lot of students will try to keep referring back to the major scale, and that's one of the things. Since the intervallic structure is completely distinct from the major scale, then there's no means in comparing it. We start with a major scale, we flat the E, and then that's it. That's a new thing in and of itself. And it's not synthetic, it's been used in music, and we'll just dive into the applications just next. Applications, my favorite part. So there's a lot of different ways to apply this, because each mode of the melodic minor scale has its own thing, and it's different from the major modes that we know from one note. But the first application we should naturally have is during a C chord, a C minor chord, if we're playing C melodic minor. So play a C minor, and the sound I love to use is, My Funny Valentine, C minor 6/9, C minor major 7, dark. Or even the James Bond chord, you know this one? There's no C in it. Let me do this. Octave pedal. That's a pretty dark sound, right? Not affiliated, but Boss OC5. Tipping my hat, really cool. So this sound is the kind of thing I will use in my improv. So let's improvise a little bit. I'll just stand up, I'll shoot this on the screen. There's a progression that I composed that is made up of chords that are within C melodic minor, and we can just improvise for about, say, 16 bars using C melodic minor. Feel free to join me or just listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see, using the C melodic minor during a C minor portion of a song. So you could be playing My Funny Valentine's, a good example. You could be playing Autumn Leaves. You could be playing Summertime, for instance. So these applications work well when the one is called a tonic minor, all right? So it's one minor. Like my progression here is like, well, it's all evolving around C minor. It's like a C minor song. Like the first 4 bars to My Funny Valentine would be a good example, or even for that matter, Stairway to Heaven would be the same process. So melodic minor doesn't quite work when the chord is like a 2 chord in a 2-5-1 progression. It would be like the 1 minor, the tonic minor. Let's move on to another interesting application. So of all the modes that we have within the C melodic minor scale, I recommend you start with the first one, the tonic minor, and the other one, which is the 4th degree, which is our chord. Again, we will go together. C minor major 7, D minor 7, E flat major 7 sharp 5, F7. So on the 4th degree, on Roman 4, like IV Roman, we have this dominant 7 chord. So you could play it as an F13. And people say, Mark, is this Mixolydian? Is this the Mixolydian mode I know in my 2-5-1 to 5 chord? It is, but with a caveat. Think about this. If I play my C melodic minor scale like this, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I start playing the same notes as C melodic minor, starting from F. So F, G, A, B, C, D, E flat, F, A, G, B, F, G, A, B, C, D, E flat. I have 7 notes that are exactly 1 note away from Mixolydian. What's that note? If I were playing Mixolydian, you will recognize that sound. I need to have a natural fourth, or a raised fourth. A B natural. How do we call that? Well, it's an F7 chord with a sharp 4, or call it sharp 11. So if you see like this in monk tunes and you wonder, that's what it is. It's 4th mode melodic minor, meaning it's a Mixolydian that's slightly tweaked by 1. People call it Lydian dominant. If you know your modes, people say, well, Lydian has a sharp 4, and this is also a flat 7. So if you look at a comparison to the F major scale, it would be, well, F with a sharp 4 with a flat 7. So it sounds like this: F, G, A, B, C, D, E flat. So 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7. So that's the other applications. Whenever you encounter a dominant chord and you want to spice it up, whether you want to spice it up for alteration purposes because it's about to resolve, or just because you want to fool around because it sounds good, this is one of the best things you can do. So I will do the same as we did previously with our C minor. I will put a vamp on, like a backing track. You can see flash this on the screen, and the backing track will yield that sort of sound, and we will improvise on the C melodic minor scale, knowing that C melodic minor scale is our parent scale, and that actually F7 sharp 11 is the sound we're going after. Let's get going. A 1, a 2, a 3. Good, let's move to our third application. It's just a quick recap. We worked on the 1 on the tonic C minor chord. We worked on the 4th degree of melodic minor, which is F7 sharp 11. Now in C melodic minor, we will also have a scale built on the 7th degree. If you guys have been hanging around theory books or jazz clubs, you will find out that the B note, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, the 7th note of the scale here, hosts a B7 altered chord. You can play it as a B7 sharp 9, B7 flat 9, or both. If you're a piano player, you can play both. Flat 5, sharp 5 as well. So all 4 possible alterations are there. Sharp 9, flat 9, sharp 5, flat 5, and any blend of thereof. The chord is called the B7 altered chord. Also, see, people call this B superlocrian. Typically, the B superlocrian is the 5th degree of an E minor. You know, it's like, it sounds very 70s, right? I don't know what it is about this. Like, I see the, you know, Afro and like the funk music, and something really funky about it, and then it will resolve to an E minor. So if you're playing Autumn Leaves in that key, so right, it's a 5 going to a minor chord typically. So we'll do the exact same process, which is I'm going to put a backing track that outlines that B7 altered superlocrian sound, and I will solo with the same 7 notes as the C melodic minor. It's the same 7 notes, although now they sound quite different because we're looking at the 7th mode. So think about this like if you've ever played C major and tried to work on the Locrian mode, the 7th mode of C major. Now this is the equivalent. It's the Locrian of melodic minor. So we call it superlocrian. I don't like that name, but it is what we call the altered scale. And back after with the improv for some theory explanation on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. right, so just a little caveat and moving on with that information. What we have for the B7 chord and the F7 chord is that these two chords are essentially the same, and that's where the expression tritone sub comes from. If it's your first exposure to tritone sub, probably not, but you'll see if I do a B7 sharp 9 like this, and I just change one note to the root, I go F13. These two chords share the same tritone, which is they have the same guide tones, so they have the same third and seventh. Whether I play an F13 like this, or B7 shell, or F or B shell, you'll notice these two notes they have in common, right? So what it does mean is they can function the same way. So whether I'm using a B7 altered chord to resolve to an E minor, like I did with my Autumn Leaves example, I could also use an F13 chord to resolve into my E minor, meaning that instead of doing 5 to 1, I can do flat 2 to 1, and that's the infamous tritone sub. If you're resolving to a C major chord, that would be G7 to C, boring 5-1, or D flat 7 to C. And guess what? When I play either of these two, and I'll go back now to the key of E minor. So we have this, we have these two guys that want to go to an E minor. So whether I use this one or that one, I could say I'm still playing a B altered sound, whether I'm doing this tritone sub. So if you're thinking of a tritone sub, you could either think about it like a 7 sharp 11 like this guy, or you can think about it like it's a 7th degree of a melodic minor scale. Yeah, I know it's a mouthful. Sorry, that's a lot of information. But just knowing that these two things are equivalent, it can be really helpful to simplify things. I'd rather think about dominant 7 sharp 11 than thinking about the altered scale. So whenever there's a tritone sub or a crazy scale, I just think, well, instead of 5-1, I'm just going to do flat 2-1 with a really simple scale. But that's a topic for another video. All right, moving on. This is your melodic minor masterclass. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment below. I read and reply to every comment. And also, there's a free community which you can join, which is called the Fellowship. In the Fellowship, you have access to all this training, more, the downloads, you can post your videos, hang out with me and thousands of students. It's free of charge. You just got to join, click the link in the description. And one of the things I'll tell you right off the bat, if this is the beginning of your exploration with melodic minor, you'll find a lot of beautiful things come out. But what I showed you now, we're scratching the surface. Those are the most important ones, but each and every mode of a melodic minor can have a usage. Some are used more than others, but if you master melodic minor modes the same way as you did the major modes, you're going to be just fine. All right, so on that positive note, I'm Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and you can see the video for plenty more free lessons. And I'll see you in the next one with Jazz Guitar Lessons. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher. Take care. Bye.